Okay. Been nervous about doing the tutorial for this segment for a while, but I'll do the best I can. So we're going to talk about wrecked ship today. Just wrecked ship from the time that you exit Fantoon until the time that you get gravity. I'm going to fight Fantoon here. The reason being, you need to pay attention to your health when you're exiting. Alright, so you kill Fantoon, right? Right now we have 123 health. My preference is to leave this room with at least 190. If we're at 200 plus, that's comfortable, but we'll talk about kind of why. So there's a bunch of big health here, so we're totally good. But let's say that we get a set of drops that doesn't have very much health. Like this, okay? So we're at below 190 here, and there are some strats that I'm going to talk about that we would not be able to do with this amount of health. So I will talk about essentially two different sets of strats for a couple of rooms, based on how much health you have. So we'll get into it. Okay, that should be fine. All right, so you jumped out of Fantoon's room, right? You want to kind of morph and mock and then lay a bomb here. Ideally, you want to lay a bomb a little bit further from the block, but it's not a huge deal. When you come out here, there's a couple different things that you can do. So you can either jump over this robot and jump up through the door, or the faster strat is to try and do a deboost off of this atomic. This is probably one of the hardest deboosts in the game, to be quite honest. It's very unforgiving, but that's the idea there. You want to deboost and land up here. So yeah, you want to do a deboost here if you have enough health. If you're a little bit short on health, like if you have like 180 here, my recommendation is to just jump over the bot like this. Jump through the door. Okay. Something else you can do to make the deboost a little bit easier, and I just figured this out today, is you can shoot just upon exiting. And that will allow you to kind of run a little bit farther and jump later, which can make getting the right boost easier. But again, this deboost is just really hard. So if you're struggling with it, even if you have enough health, it might be better to just jump over. Save yourself the energy loss and the time loss that would result in a failed boost. Okay, so that's this room. Last thing is this door. This door is pretty bad, honestly. Hey Giggles, what's up, dude? So if you just run through this door normally, let's just do this. It's not the worst, but it's a 63 frame transition, so you're losing about 20 frames there. You can either go back right to kind of fix it. That was 51. It's a 43, I think. Yeah. Or you can kind of stop. You can kind of like do a stutter here, and that won't fix the door all the way, but it will make it a little bit better. And the nice thing is, if you do it correctly, you can get a speedy jump up here. And a speedy jump is going to be much better than a lower jump, which is probably what you'll get if you try to fix the door. Either that or, you know, waiting and turning around is going to be much slower. So that was a 519 room with a 42 door. If you do like a stutter, .502 with the 64 door. So, and there's some variance to that, obviously. But yeah, the best strategy I've found is something like that. You can get like a 426, 424, or something like that, with like a 50-something door, if you do this correctly. So that's my recommendation for this room. Something like that. And again, that's just if you're trying to optimize. That was pretty good, aside from breaking spin there. All right. So depending on what kind of jump you got through this door, you'll come up and be able to ledge grab this ledge right here, either early or later. So you just want to pay attention to your jump speed. There's a few things you can do here. So these blocks are a giant pain. Probably the easiest thing to do is something like this. Okay. There's normally a block right here, but as long as we lay the power bomb kind of over on this side, it will break that block. Let's see. If we were to, for example, lay a regular bomb, it won't break this block, and it also won't break this block. And if we lay a power bomb later, like over here, it won't break this block over on the right side. So that's why we want to lay a power bomb over on the right side, like this. This is not the fastest strat, it's just the easiest strat. The fastest strat, there's two different variations to it. So when I was running RBO, I found that if you shoot at the right time after jumping up here, you can break this top block. And from there, you can lay a power bomb. Come on. Oh, also you want to shoot there first, that's right. So you do like this sort of a thing. If I can even freaking do it. There we go. So you lay a power bomb there, and then if you're fast enough, you can actually run across this before it breaks and do a mock. But as you can tell, this is kind of hard to get consistent. You want to shoot kind of like near the top of your jump as you're like bonking, and then jump morph. Shooting here breaks the blocks over in this corner. By the way, that's why we're shooting early, like this. Anyway, so I was doing this because it's what I found for RBO, and Behemoth saw me doing it, and he was like, I really like that. And he came up with a much easier way where basically what you do is, so you shoot on these stairs, okay? You charge a shot and you moonwalk backwards, and then you shoot your charge shot upwards, and it will break this top block, and then you can proceed with the rest of the strat as normal. This, in theory, is a little bit slower than a perfectly executed other version of the strat, but it's so much easier. And it's like, the difference is like frames. And the consistency goes way, way, way up. So, this is the fastest, you know, technically not, but it's more or less the same speed. And pretty consistent once you practice it. Okay. This can get you a sub 6 room time. That's kind of what you're looking for. In a run, you're probably going to get more like a 620 or something like that. But when you're practicing it, your goal should be getting a sub 6. And once you've done that, you can feel confident that you're doing the strat completely correctly and quickly. Sub 6 is really hard, by the way. So that's like the high bar. See, that was 605. Sometimes this block will be here, and when that happens, you just want to shoot it out like this. You're not going to be able to run across this block in that case, so you want to run forward and do a gap skip, and then run and do a mock. Okay. This next room can change a little bit depending on how much run speed you have coming in. So either get used to running from this position or get used to running from right next to the door. I've started just planning on always running right next to the door like this, because it makes the next room so that it's the same every time. You might lose a few frames doing it that way, but it's definitely, again, I think it's worth the consistency. Okay. All right. So you run in this room. Notice that I selected missiles before coming in this room. The reason that I did that was so that we can fire a missile right after we enter and kill this first sponge guy. Because if we don't, he's gonna kind of mess up the strat. Well, maybe not, but he probably causes more lag. I don't know. Let's find out. Seems more laggy. It's at 47 lag frames. Yeah. So kill this guy when you enter. It'll reduce lag. And then I do one shot as I'm falling. And then my cue for where to jump is under this this square vent in the background. So I jump when I'm under the square vent. I do not aim down until after I bonk the ceiling. And then I morph. And you want to shoot again on your way up. So you're shooting this robot twice, and what that does is it makes him fall down like that. If you only shoot him once, he's not going to walk back quite far enough to fall. He'll just stop right here. And then he's going to be in your way on the way back. So you want to shoot him twice. Jump under the vent. Morph. If at all possible, you want to get a bounce off this sponge. A Kego is good too. You want to lay a power bomb. Really, like even pretty far over here to the left will work. See how it still broke all these blocks. But ideally, you want to lay it kind of in the middle there. Lay a bomb on this robot as you're rolling over him. That will knock him back one time. and then roll through this third space on the bottom. Jump over this thing. You don't want to ledge grab it on your way in. So jump over it, and then I do a turnaround so that we're already facing left. And I hold shoot out of the fanfare. Like this. That will make Samus land earlier, and as you run left, the shot will also connect with the robot. See that? And it will push it off a little faster. See how he didn't even go all the way off that time? So that kind of depends on when you bomb him. But if you also do a shot, he'll always go all the way down. Okay? Something else to watch out for. It's not something that I can recreate intentionally, but if you unmorph at the right time, after doing the ball boost, like this, sometimes you'll get what's called a slope killer effect, where Samus, basically, there's something about the way that the game applies speed values to her on slopes, and I'm guessing the same thing happens on conveyor belts. I would love to show it, but again, I can't do it on purpose. But sometimes when you unmorph, it's almost like the conveyor belt doesn't move Samus. It's really weird. So just be aware of that, so that if it happens, like, you know kind of what happened, I guess. Importantly, you just want to make sure that you jump up pretty much immediately after landing. No worries, Sassy. Lay a bomb, roll through, grab the supers, shoot, do a ledge grab on this dome on the way out. Then you want to do a jump morph into this hole. Sometimes, this is really annoying, sometimes, even if you're holding left, Samus just won't go in the hole. The only way that I've figured out to kind of safeguard against that is to do like a higher jump, but that's going to lose you time. So just kind of get a feel for how you want to do that. Unmorph as soon as you come out of the hole, so that you are aligned with the right wall right here. Yeah, see? Right there. I think what happened there was that I wasn't completely morphed as I was passing the hole, but I don't know for sure. It just happens sometimes. Do a running jump over the first robot. Ideally, this sponge will drop a power bomb, and you want to stay in spin kind of longer to try and get some of those extra pixels out of your jump. And then basically ledge grab when you think that you'll be able to grab the power bomb. And by ledge grab, I mean angle up or angle down. Select power bombs again, Doesn't really matter where you do it, as long as you do it somewhere in this room. In fact, oh yeah, so you need to deselect them so you can bomb this guy. Not as far as I've noticed. So select power bombs again, jump over the guy, jump here and do a damage boost off of this. It's important that you get that robot all the way off, because otherwise he's going to be in the way, so we won't be able to damage boost. So what you'll have to do is kind of a higher jump over him, which is slower. Damage boost. Run left and shoot, angle up, and then jump up and do a mock ball out of the door. So I'll do the full strat a few times, and then we'll move on. So you missed the door there. So you want to shoot kind of late. Walk through the door. I'm just holding dash with my index finger. That's all I'm doing. Okay. One more time. All right. Here you want to lay a power bomb as soon as you come out of the door. That will break both of these blocks, but not this block, which you want to leave intact. So lay it right next to the door. And then do an auto deselect on your missile. Shoot a missile and immediately run forward. The reason we're using a missile is because it ends up still hitting the door on time and not breaking these blocks. Okay, so you can shoot it a little bit earlier without worrying about breaking those blocks. You can also stand up and then run, but it's slower. And you're not going to miss this missile, so... Pretty straightforward room. And as you come out of this door, do a jump and wall jump check the supers. Hold shoot out of the transition to automatically open the door. And then immediately turn left, jump, and you can damage boost off the spark. Depending on what kind of a boost you get, this next room can change. So if you notice that you landed before the door, basically you'll just want to plan on immediately jumping up and doing a ledge grab. But if you're still in the air, you're going to need to wait to land and then turn around and jump up and do a ledge grab. If you're pretty close to the ground, let's see if I can do this. It's these this boost is just different sometimes, and it's hard for me to figure out like why it's different. Okay, so we're pretty close to the ground here. You can actually buffer a jump input before you have control of Samus. So if I hold jump for too long before, then she won't jump, okay? But if you press it, like, I don't know how many frames of leeway it is, but if you press it just before you regain control, it will buffer a jump off the floor, and you can just get up here immediately, instead of like waiting and turning and doing whatever, right? So that's kind of a nifty thing. This is another room where there's a few ways that you can do it. The way that I do it's pretty difficult, but I'm going to talk about that first, and then we'll move on. One of the reasons that teaching wrecked ship is so daunting to me is that there are multiple like strings of rooms that it's important that you do one room one way so that you can follow up in the next room one way so that you can follow up in the next room another way, like, and this is kind of where that starts. So depending on how you handle this room will change how you need to handle the next room. The way that I do it, I piano this room, do a ledge grab here, do a ledge grab here. It's okay if your ledge grab right here is kind of loose, because that will, in theory, it can give you some, what am I trying to say? Some of the optimal run speed coming into the next room. So it's okay if you do kind of like a loose grab there. But it's also okay if it's clean, like, don't force yourself to lose frames just cause. One thing that's nice is all these doors were locked upon entering wrecked ship, which means that they're flashing now, and flashing doors actually open faster than non-flashing doors. And so because of that, we can be pretty aggressive with how quickly we run towards this door after shooting, and Samus usually won't bonk. If you're like late, like really late on your shot, it is possible to bonk still like that. But as long as you kind of shoot, I don't know, probably between like here and here, you should be okay. Depending on how much gun speed your shot actually has. So just keep that in mind. So I do an angle up shot here, but I'm pianoing, which means that my angle up has to be done on the D-pad. Depending on what your button layout is, you might be able to do it with your angle up button. The reason that's hard for me is because it makes it so that I have to release dash in order to shoot, or I need to do this fat finger maneuver, which is like really hard. It's really hard for me to fat finger to begin with, but it's especially hard for me to hold angle up on R and dash and shoot at the same time. Like there's something about the way that my fingers have to stretch to do that is just like really, really difficult for me. So that's why I piano this room. You could also, in theory, claw it if you're using my same layout, but the reason that I piano is actually because of this next room. So I enter this room with an auto deselect missile. And in order to do that, I have to move my right hand over and push select with my index, and push item select with my middle finger. Okay? And I have to do that after opening the door. So this is why I say that my version of this strat is probably, like, it's a difficult strat. It's a really difficult variation of the strat. But it's what I find easiest for this next room, which is why I do it this way. So in this next room, we have our missile auto-deselected. You do not want to hold dash after entering this door. You want to release dash, and I'll explain why. You want to shoot your auto-deselect missile, and then immediately, not like 2 frames later, but quote-unquote immediately release the shoot button as well, and that will release a spazer shot, which will open the next door for you. Do that. Alternatively, and this is what I've seen Zost do, I think it's Zost that I've seen do this, you can just have missiles selected and do a jump and shoot another missile. But if you shoot too early, that's what is going to happen. This is definitely easier than what I do, so no shame in that. You do not want to do a mock ball into that next room, by the way. So the reason that we are releasing dash here is because it gives Samus the optimal jump out of the water so that she can easily make it up and over the platform there. If we hold dash the whole time, what happens is kind of a lower jump. She'll still make it over the platform there, but not with enough height to be able to do a bounce ball. See how I tried to morph and she kind of like grabbed right here. So we actually want to clear that higher part of the platform and do a bounce ball through this next door. That'll bounce us all the way across the room. Sometimes you'll get a bounce that won't bounce you all the way across the room, but the bounce ball is still optimal. And I swear, if I have trouble showing you guys a bounce that doesn't go all the way across, I'm gonna rip my hair out. So that one got blocked by another platform, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, when I was practicing today, this sort of thing happens a lot of the time, where you just kind of stick once you land. So because of that, you may want to err on the side of caution and unmorph early. Not too early, but kind of like as you're landing on that middle platform. Like this. That will kind of have Samus slide across. I don't know why that just happened with that next platform. That was weird. Yeah, we'll have Samus kind of slide across like this, and then you can just jump onto this next one. If you do happen to get blocked, which generally will happen if you have too much speed, like this, you need to be really careful. Basically, you want to unmorph and then jump up immediately, because if you don't, what's going to happen is Samus will still be unmorphing because water makes her slow, so the unmorph animation takes longer. And she'll still be in this weird, like, unmorph state where as that next platform rises up, it will actually put her inside of the platform. And these things do 100 damage per hit. Also, if you notice that you don't land before the door. Try and show this. You just want to unmorph immediately after. Like, you want to release everything and just focus on unmorphing. Oh my gosh, come on. So like this, we didn't land, so I'm just gonna release and unmorph, and then you jump up and go through the room. And I'll talk about going through the room if you don't bounce across after I finish talking about the bounce ball methods. Bounce. If you would just frickin' bounce to the next platform and get stuck again, Samus. Please. She doesn't want to. Okay, let me see if I can illustrate this another way. This. Okay. So I'll show that again. So you unmorph, and the platform like comes up inside of her, and she takes 100 damage. Now, if that happens in this situation, you die. Because your reserves fill and your iframes run out, and then you take another hit immediately after your reserves. So that's why I say, if you bounce but you get like stuck on the next platform, you need to be really fast in what you do, because otherwise the platform's going to rise and she's going to get stuck inside of it and die. So like, just jump up. Oh, you'll still have iframes when you first land. That's why you need to be fast. So you'll still have iframes from this one, and you just want to, or maybe you get iframes from the spikes, I'm not sure. But either way, you get iframes, you jump up, jump across, shoot the door, and you go through the door. Okay? Alright. If you do... Okay, we're just gonna save state here. Okay, so say you get the good bounce. You don't actually want to bounce all the way across. I used to do this, where I'd bounce all the way across and jump up and go through the door. That's not bad, necessarily. It's a 232. What you actually want to do is unmorph as you're passing over this second to last platform, and immediately jump up and shoot the door. From there, you can either run through, which again is a little slower, or you can do a deboost off of these spikes. Okay, it's a pretty difficult deboost. Basically, you have to delay your back press, so in this case right, until you're much lower than usual. But it will boost you through the door, and if you do it correctly, it will boost you all the way across here, even to the point where you land on this platform. Sometimes your boost will be kind of suboptimal, and you'll still make it through the door, but you won't quite make it to the platform, like this. And that's okay, you just jump up and go about your business. That is the most optimal way through this room. So you get the good bounce, you unmorph kind of late as you're passing over that second to last platform. You jump onto the very last platform, you open the door, and then you jump up and deboost through the door. Now, if you're worried that you're not going to get the optimal bounce, and I'll talk about a cue in just a minute to kind of make a best guess. Whoa, what the? That was so weird. That was so weird. Anyway, you can, like I said, you can unmorph early on this third one and do the same kind of thing, just going a little bit slower. You'll lose about 30, 40 frames doing it that way. But it's still better than just running through the door, because we get a boost that gets us all the way across this room instead of falling early. Okay. Alright, so let's say that we had less health coming out of Phantoon. You need to pay really close attention to how much health you have here. Because otherwise... So if you don't notice that you have less than 100 health, and you try and do this strat, you're gonna die. Oops. We're dead. Well, Zeni, then what are you supposed to do if you have less than 100 health? Luckily, this strat is a bit easier, so you may want to main it anyway. It's really up to you. You just want to jump up and let's grab here. And then run through the door. You want to jump, not run, you want to jump through the door. And then this is actually pretty lenient. You just want to ledge grab onto this first platform. And then jump up and do a damage boost across, and you can do another one. Another thing to keep in mind is that you want to have more than 30 health exiting Spiky Room of Death, if at all possible. It's okay if you don't, but it is preferred if possible. I would probably still do this boost even if it's going to put you under 30. But you do need to make note if you have 30 or less, because that will change this room as well. Another thing that I just want to clarify, you only ever want to ledge grab this platform, or these types of platforms, as they are falling. You do not want to do it as they are rising. Because if you do it as they're rising, what can happen is you end up like K-going into them. Like that. And then you die. Can you tell why this room is called Spiky Room of Death? Also, if you miss the D-boost or whatever, so first of all, don't ledge grab like I just did. Okay, you can break spin early so that you'll land earlier, like this. But just face forward. Even if you land on the spikes, it's okay. Just face forward the entire time. Jump across the platforms. Well, how did that happen? I don't know. And get through. Okay. Because if you turn around, you can K-go and die. So, also, is that it? I think that's it. It's called Spiky Room of Death for a reason. See, we just took, yeah, that was spike damage. But when we took that spike damage, we ended up inside of the platform. Anyway. All the things kill you in this room. Alright, so, like I said, you want to have 31 or more health entering this room. Well, why, Zeni? Well, because optimally, we're actually going to hit 2 sparks as we go through this room. This one is the first one, and then this one right here is the second one. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to hit it, and you won't die, but you just lost all of your reserves, which is very bad. You want to maintain your reserves through all of Wrecked Ship. So, $31 or more. Okay. Hopefully you land on this platform over here on the right side. You want to shoot this block out. I use an angle up shot to do that. And then you want to jump up and ledge grab here. It's important that you do a spin jump. Is it a... Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to get a full jump here. So you do want it to be a spin jump or a crouch jump. Okay. If you just do a regular jump, Samus is stuck in the water. So spin jump up. Ledge grab. The way that I do this, I run forward and I do an angle up shot. I use the D-pad for that. And then I jump and I do an up shot after my angle up shot. And what that up shot does is it breaks these blocks up here. You can also just break them like this. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're slow, it can end up like making you bonk. So I just find it safer to do an upshot early. Then what you want to do is hold either angle up or angle down, run forward, jump, and immediately turn left. What that will do is when you turn left, it breaks Samus out of spin. So even if you're holding angle down and you run forward and you hold jump, she's going to do a spin jump, right? But as soon as you release jump, she breaks spin. Or if you turn around, even if you're holding jump, she'll still break spin. So what we're doing here is we're doing hitbox manipulation. It's kind of hard, but you want to jump and then immediately turn, and she'll KO through these sparks. Through this spark right here. Okay? Alternatively, if you don't have enough health, or if you're having trouble with this and you're ending up deboosting every time like this, you'll just want to run past the sparks, like this, and then jump up and avoid the damage. So you don't need to worry about timing that, because it's not going to drop a spark on you ever, as long as you're not being really slow through it. So maybe if you yeah. But even then, I think that only did 2 damage. Yeah, so not a big deal really. So yeah, if you decide not to do the KO, you just want to run past it and jump up. Shoot up. I do a straight jump here because it's more consistent for me. You can do a spin jump, which makes the ledge grab easier. But it is blind the first time that you jump up, so the ledge grab's pretty hard. And I tend to just have more consistency with the straight jump. So I do a straight jump up. Grab the ledge, not with the ledge grab, just try not to jump overly high like this. And then you can either angle up shoot, or you can do an up shot after you run over here, and that will break this block. So if you don't shoot, it's still going to be here. And then I get questions about this a lot. So you want to open this door with a super missile, and then you actually want to run and hit this spark in a way that it does a damage boost down. So you want to hold forward onto it, and you want to hit it from the top. You don't want to hit this spark from this side, or it's not going to do anything to help you. The reason we hit this spark is it actually fixes the door. So we end up with a better door transition. If we don't fix the door, we get a 70 frame door transition. And if we do fix the door, we get a like 45 or 40, yeah, 49. The super optimal way to do this is to not even turn around. But this is pretty hard, where basically you run off and then you like stop. So you run off and then you push angle down after running off. You don't want to be holding angle down before running off. And then as you're landing, you push forward. So like that, except I should have been holding forward. And that way you don't have to wait for the turnaround animation, but that's super hard. That's something that Susraim found, I think. But it's really hard, and every time that I've tried to do it, I feel like I mess it up more than I get it, like by a huge margin. So I just run off and turn around and run into the spark, and then turn around again, run through the door. Okay. So that should cover it for this room. $605, damn. Okay. You want to hold dash here and then jump near the end of the water, or near the end of the platform under the water. That will get you over to this second platform here. Now, if you decided to do early croc, you have grapple beam here. But we are doing late croc, which means that we do not have grapple beam. And we have to jump across here. Now, technically, you can jump across with high jump. It's just very difficult. And definitely not safe for runs. But did you see how tight that was? You can also do a jump ball across, which is a little bit more forgiving, but still really hard. See? Or you can pause and unequip high jump, and that makes this jump basically free. But then you have to pause and re-equip high jump. So that's slow because you have 2 extra pause transitions there. Yeah, you do not want to have power bombs equipped here for this next strat. So the most consistent and still pretty fast strat is to do a bomb jump across here, like this. A single bomb, like you can definitely make a single bomb consistent, but it is definitely more risky. So we're gonna save state here. My cue for where to lay this bomb, so there's these horizontal lines in the background. I don't know what those are supposed to be, but whatever. So there's the fat, like, beam things that go left to right, like right here. And then there's the smaller ones, right? So the second one down from... hopefully that makes sense. The second one down-ish is where I lay my bomb. right there. And then I do another jump just above it. Remorph. And it should bounce you fairly consistently. There is a setup where you bonk the ceiling. I was never good at it, personally. I think Wild Anaconda came up with it. But yeah, I could like never get it to work for me. So I just kind of eyeball this. Like I said, I lay the bomb, second one down-ish. I jump up above the bomb. I morph. And then you want to push left just before getting bounced by it. You want to push and hold left. If you do it too early, you're just going to miss it. And if you do it too late, what's going to happen is this. So you need to be already moving left before it bounces you, okay? But Zeni, this looks really hard, and if I miss it, I'm going to fall in the water. Yes, that's true. There's an easier method where basically you do a straight bounce up first, and you lay another bomb just as that would be bouncing you, and then you bounce left off the second bomb. That is much easier. You don't want to do it too high or you will hit the ceiling like that. Okay. But basically, if you can even bomb jump at all, like even just 2 or 3, there's no reason that you should be scared of this strat whatsoever, because you can just do a second one, bounce across. Okay. One thing worth noting, Samus will not move left or right out of a bomb jump until she starts falling. So I'm going to hold left the entire time after bouncing straight up here. And notice that she doesn't start moving until she starts falling. So it's important if you do 2 of these that you still time your left press. And like you can reposition, like you can tap left, for example, and then hold left. Tap, hold. Tap, hold. Okay. But you don't want to just hold left, or that will happen. And again, you don't want to press left too late, or that will happen. Okay, if you get stuck on the sinking platform, press up and then jump. And that will prevent you from doing this weird jumpy thing. I think you can also press L and jump. Yeah, or R and jump. Or you can do a spin jump. Or you can hold shoot and jump. But this will happen sometimes if you just try to jump. Okay. All right. So, bomb jump across, grab the energy tank. This jump across is easier from left to right because you have more of a platform space here to get running speed. So just run and jump across, jump back across these 3. If you happen to get stuck in the water right here, just jump out and run through the door. All right. Jump over these and shoot down. Then do an angle down shot as you're landing. That will break those blocks. morph and unmorph, and then do a down back. That will prevent you from hitting this spark here. It's not the end of the world if you do hit the spark, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay. Run left down these stairs. It's important that you don't arm pump, or you will probably fall. It's really annoying when you do. Like that. And because of that, we can't angle down shoot that next block. And it's faster anyway if we do a little jump, aim down, and shoot as we're kind of ready to land on it. Do a damage boost off of this spark here on the left, all the way over to the right. Aim down and shoot this block. Hold left, shoot the door. And then you want to do... Hang on. I can't even think of how to explain this without doing it. Okay, so you want to do a short jump down basically to the bottom of the stairs, and then you want to do another short jump onto this, and then a big jump up here. The reason why you want to do that instead of a bigger jump here and then here is because it gives you a better door transition. If I remember correctly. One way or another, this is the fastest way through the room that I found. So again, down back, shoot down, damage boost, shoot down. 2 short jumps. Big jump, let's grab. Jump through this door. This is important that you jump through this door. If you do hit this spark, your iframes are not going to run out usually. Oh crap. In time for you to do that deboost. Well, maybe it's maybe I'm like K-going or something. There we go. See that? So if you get down there, you'll kind of need to eyeball where your iframes are at. But if you do, if you get down there before you're going to be able to damage boost, the best thing I found to do is just do a jump and then damage boost. Like that. Jump through the door. You want to do a late jump through the door because otherwise it's going to really wreck the door transition still. So if you do like a big jump through the door, see that? 93. But if you do a later jump, 72. Which still isn't great, but what can you do? You know? I don't think there's a better way to fix it. This is what Behemoth does. It's what I watched Zost and Oates and people do as well. So. Let's grab on this first platform, just like that variation of the strat coming in. Do a damage boost off this right set of spikes. You do not want to do that kind of a damage boost or it can totally screw you up. And you want to make sure that you're holding the boost the entire way until you land, because if you release it early, what's going to happen is Samus is going to try to turn around in the water, which is very slow, and you're going to take extra damage. So hold the boost the whole way. Do a short jump onto this next platform. You can shoot the door open. You can also use a missile if you're finding that this platform is blocking your shot, which can happen sometimes. So missile will have a little bit more lenience, like that. Jump onto this last platform, and then run, and release left after you run off the platform so that you land on the edge here before the door. Okay? If you miss this ledge grab, probably the best thing to do is do damage boost from here and land on this platform and then jump across. I've also seen kind of this bounce ball thing, I think. I'm not really sure how it works, to be completely honest. Something like that. I would still recommend doing the damage boost, probably. You can do it from here, too. That might be better, actually, than doing it from here. It's almost certainly better. Yeah, quite a bit. Alright, so if you miss this ledge grab, you can do damage boost from there. Okay? Alright, let's grab, damage boost, jump, shoot. Hold up. $345. $335. Okay, yeah, so this is still best. But it's good to know that there's that backup. What I do in this next room is not something that I've seen anybody else do, but I love this strat, so this is what I'm going to teach. So hold shoot as you're coming out of this door. That will knock this sponge out of the way. Holy crap. Something, helicopter or something flying super low. It will knock this sponge out of the way, and then you can do another shot when you're up here. That will open the door. Just do a bounce ball through the water. Unmorph as you're exiting the water. And then I hold shoot through the door. All right. This room is super, super hard to optimize. I'm going to talk about two main strats that you can use. They're almost the same, but really comes down to optimizing it by practicing it over and over and over. So if you are low on health or otherwise not confident in your ability to have a good amount of health coming out of wrecked ship, you can select a super missile and kill this atomic, and it won't always drop a big health, but it will often drop a big health for you. It does cost a super missile to do that. But it's not bad. It's still a good fast strat. You just want to pause for a second after killing it to make sure that you actually grab the health. and then switch off of supers. I just switch to power bombs. Or you can switch, you know what, you probably want to switch back to regular. You're going to have time anyway while you wait for the health. Shoot up, so you break those blocks right about here. Jump through. This jump is really annoying because it's a one tile gap. But again, that's just something you need to practice. Jump up through. Since we have wave beam, it's generally not faster to do this clip here, so I don't do it. I've noticed that Oats is doing it, but in my experience, it's better to just do this. Okay, so you shoot all the blocks out, you jump up, you ledge grab here, you jump up, you ledge grab here, you open this door, you select missiles, and you want to jump through the right side of the door, and you want to bonk this wall as you're going through, okay? Alternatively, the faster thing to do is to hold your charge shot this entire time and freeze this atomic. Because if you don't freeze it, it's going to bonk you like that, okay? And again, we actually want to focus on conserving health here as much as possible. So that's what I do. I think this is also what Behemoth does. He doesn't start charging until here. So he does this sort of thing. I don't know how it works, actually, to be honest. Something like that. I just hold charge the entire time. I find that, for some reason, it's easier for me to time my ledge grab here if Samus is in pseudo screw. I don't know why that is, but... That's what the room looks like. If you can get a sub 8 in this room, consider that like masterclass, because it's really hard. I don't recall the best times. I think Cutie has a 7.3x. I don't know what Behe's best time is. I think mine is a low 7.4. You can make this a little bit easier if you just run to the door and then turn around. Makes the ledge grab a little bit easier, like this. I personally don't do that because it's a bit slower, and I've gotten really used to doing the early jump. You can also do an angle jump, like that. Basically, that will, like, it buffers Samus up speed, but the drawback is that you are, again, slowing yourself down a bit by hitting the ceiling first and turning around it. And then you can't ledge grab, because you're already in that expanded hitbox state. See how hard this room is? It's super hard. This whole segment is so hard. Okay, I'm gonna do that one more time. Alright. So you want to bonk the door on the right, and you want to have missiles selected as you come in. Attic. If you are familiar with the KPDR strat for Attic already, there is nothing wrong with doing the KPDR strat for Attic in 100%. One thing worth noting is that you want to conserve health, so I would advise against doing the Shine Spark method. But any other strat that you're already familiar with in Attic, you can definitely just plug in for 100% and you'll be just fine. The fastest 100% strat, I think, is called, they call it ballistics or something like that. It involves shooting a bunch of missiles and switching items to continue shooting missiles. So I piano this room. You want to angle down, shoot this key hunter, then switch to a super and do an angle up and shoot it with the super. You can also do a straight shot with the super, but I do an angle up because the next shot, the second super shot, is also an angle up. Okay? You want to shoot your second super as you're passing this screen in the background that has a Metroid showing on the screen. Something that I learned in my PRKD tutorial. It's a Metroid on that screen. I kind of time it as I'm passing the top left dot right there. And it will hit both the atomic and the key hunter if you do it correctly. It will kill the atomic, and then you'll need to shoot the key hunter with one more missile. So after you shoot this second super, depending on whether you have grapple or don't have grapple, you'll need to item select either 3 times or 4 times to get back to the missile, and then you want to kill this key hunter. I stop, I do a stutter, and I stop. So I do a stutter after the second super, and then I run forward again and kill the key hunter like that. Another thing you can do is that, where you just run past it and then turn left and shoot it, okay? There are pros and cons to both of these, but they're about the same speed. It just makes this jump different. Okay. So you kill these guys. Then you turn around and face left. I usually do it just to the right of this thing. So I try to be right around here. Turn left, shoot either 4 or 5 missiles. I usually do 5 to be safe, but 4 will kill this guy. Okay. So we're still on missiles, shoot 4 missiles, switch back to supers, and as you're passing this beam right here, that's when you want to shoot another super. That will kill this atomic up here. You'll get blue, which will allow you to run through this right here without taking damage and stopping. You're holding dash this entire time, by the way. And then when you jump over this pillar, blue will kill that next atomic. This is one of the hardest strats in Super Metroid, period. There's a couple ways you can do the ending here. You want to stay and spin as long as you can. And then you want to, the way that I do it, you want to angle up fairly late. Angling up will expand your hitbox, which will kill this key hunter, and then you can shoot a super, which will kill this atomic. Okay. I expect anybody learning this to watch this part of the tutorial like a million times, by the way. I time my jump right around as Samus is passing this square thing, this rectangular, I don't know, console in the background. This looks like it's really early, but the way that the background scrolls, it will actually be in a pretty good spot as you're passing the left side of it. See that? And again, like, so many of these things are just... I don't know. I don't know if it's mode 7. But so many of these, like, visual cues and item switches and stuff, they're just things that, like, you just have to practice this room, like, hundreds of times, and eventually you'll just start to see and feel how to do the room. Okay. I jump up and collect the drop from the atomic here and shoot the door. That is technically slower in this room than the alternative, which I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off, but I'll try. So you can also shoot... You can shoot a super kind of early and kill the atomic that way, and still kill the key hunter with blue if you do it correctly. I think you may need to do the turn, like the running farther. Anyway, if you do that and you kill the atomic, you actually want to open the door from the floor and then run back. You can do that with this method as well. It's just kind of hard because you'll still have a cooldown from shooting the super, I think. I can't do it. I'll talk about a couple of backups here in just a minute. See, my muscle memory is so baked in, like... So you could, like, for example, you could switch to power bombs there. Yeah, but there is a cooldown because you just shot a super. So I prefer to just jump and grab the health. That way I know that the beam is going to come out, and you usually will get a big health out of that atomic. I think it's like 65% or something based on what somebody put in chat earlier. That gives you 20 extra health, which, if I remember correctly, when I timed this, it's about 20 frames slower to grab the health. The thing is, if that 20 extra health means that you put 20 less energy into your reserves when you're doing the Gauntlet Spark later, it's actually the same, because when reserves are filling your energy, it's 1 energy per frame. So it evens out in that sense. So I jump up there. Alright, let's say that you jump too early. Well, okay. Let's say that you miss the atomic here. Like that. You just want to shoot 3 missiles upward at the atomic, and then go. This part of the room will be kind of wonky, can either do this, which is kind of like the KPDR strat, but the key hunter might not be in the right spot. I think, if I remember correctly, you can fix that by doing like a jump here. Yeah, that will allow the key hunter to fly further left. Basically, the jump, all you're doing is delaying when you run left. So anyway, I'm not very good at that. But that is definitely a strat. And it might collect you some health too. So you can do that. If you only hit the atomic and not the key hunter, that's where things get really messy. And Cutie has a strat backup for that, but I'm just not good at it. I've never been able to do it. So basically, this key hunter is just going to wreck your day, and then you cry because you lose a bunch of time. Sorry, I wish I had. I wish I had better direction for that, but I don't. So, okay. So you open this door. Now what? Run back to the right and do a jump. You know, in theory, hopefully you can collect this drop. And you want to land just to the right of this pillar here. This, I don't know what to call it, thing. Then you want to run to the right again and do a jump ball. Just as you are passing this next one. The reason we're doing a jump ball, you want to bounce and then unmorph just as you touch this spark. This is frame perfect, but if you do it correctly, you'll get a speed keep. Like that. And honestly, this is probably the easiest speed keep in the game. There's just something about like being able to see where it is that you're going to be unmorphing, or you know, something. It's hard for me to say exactly why this one's so much easier, but I do recommend going for the speed keep here. Alternatively, you can just run like this. So, you know, jump over this again. Go like that. You want to do a speed ball. You want to shoot the door as you're jumping over. Right there. Speed ball, and then unmorph as you're going through the door. That's very important. You don't want to be morphed when you go through the door, and you don't want to be standing when you go through the door. And the reason for that is because it will change the first robot's behavior, and we don't want that. X-ray speed keep is super hard. Part of the reason for that is that you have spring ball. Okay. I think that's it for this room. So we'll save state here. Hold shoot as you're coming out of this door. That will hit this first robot and make him start walking backwards immediately. If you don't do that, he's going to shoot at you, like that. So hold shoot. Select missiles. Shoot twice, and then jump across. Okay. There's a few different ways you can queue this up. I shoot at roughly, like, kind of a slower than Doppler, but similar to Doppler speed. And I watch the way that Samus is bouncing and then running forward again. Sometimes she'll start doing it immediately, and sometimes she'll like pause for a second. But basically, once this robot passes these sparks here, you want to do a spin jump up through the gap. Like that. You don't want to do a straight jump, because it makes it harder to get up. But yeah, I think I count like 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I spin jump up. This is roughly the strat that Behemoth uses. I like it a lot. There are different ways to do this, but the idea is that you can clip through these robots as long as they are moving toward you and you have iframes, okay? So, what I mean by moving toward you, every time they are tilting the top of themselves toward you. Man, I wish you could just run through them like that every time. That'd be nice. Every time they're moving the top of themselves toward you, that counts as them moving toward you. When they're moving their feet toward you, that doesn't count as them moving toward you. It's, at least I think that's what it is. So if you do it too late, that's going to happen. Because even though we had iframes and we were pushing up against the robot, the iframes just lined up in such a way that the bot was never technically moving toward us in a state where it would let us roll through, okay? So, yeah, I like to jump on top of this first robot, run forward and hit that spark on the right side, right here. Get a forward damage boost, downward, and then immediately morph and roll forward, and that will usually get you through the robot. If you're lucky, you won't get hit by a spark dropping down here like this, like what just happened. And from there, what you want to do is jump up. You can do either a full jump or just kind of time it. You want to do a damage boost off of this spark, and it will send you through this next robot. Hopefully the demo gods are with me and will allow me to do this strat for you guys. Okay, like this. Okay. The damage boost will push you through. If you do get hit by a spark, it's kind of best to just wait it out, wait the iframes out, and you can find different cues for how you wait it out. It's really up to you. One of the things that I've found that I like to do is to jump across the gap and then jump back, like this, and then do a damage boost. Sometimes that last robot is just going to screw you. It's based on RNG, and sometimes he's gonna shoot. See, so like this. Sometimes he'll shoot before you manage to clip through. That will never happen if you get the optimal strat. Like it's like he's shooting, or it's like he has the opportunity to shoot on a certain cycle, and he either does or doesn't. But that will never happen with that strat. Right there. Okay. Aside from that, the only real alternative you have is to shoot all of these robots into their holes, which takes a long frickin' time, especially if you don't have the missiles for it. I've heard, at least Snick said, that spamming here isn't actually fastest. But in my own tests, I find shooting them in this specific way is the fastest humanly. You can also just shoot them like once every 2 steps or something, and that's technically fastest. But like, the way that you have to time that shot And the way that it lines them up with the other bots just doesn't really work very well. Again, in my experience, so. Alright, once you get past the robots, you want to collect the missiles, and then there's a couple things you can do here. I want to do a save state, but it's like... It's going to be really hard to show this correctly. Heck. Okay, so we didn't get the optimal strat here, so I'm going to explain something. That left spark there, just above the M and I in missile, generally that's what we want to get iframes off of, so we can get through the robots on our way back. But since we ended up getting to the missiles later, because we didn't get the optimal strat over here, it's going to disappear fairly quickly. We can still get to it in time, but it's kind of hard, and we can't get to it in time with the optimal strat. There is also a spark that's going to appear in the top right, and we can use that instead. It's a bit easier to get the iframes from that spark, but it makes some of the strats to get back through the robots a little bit harder, in my opinion. This is one of those things where I recommend just trying a bunch of different things and finding out what is most comfortable and what works best for you. But I'm going to talk about kind of generally what I'll do. And I'll just do the room, I don't know how many more times. I'll just do it a bunch more times, and you guys can just kind of see the different things that I'm doing. So again, here we got the suboptimal. We did a wall jump check to get the missiles. I'm going to hold angle down and dash and left out of this fanfare, and then we're going to jump into that spark to get iframes. There's two different ways that you can move back through the robots going right to left. The easier way is that once you get up next to the robot, you can turn right and then turn back left, and the conveyor belt will automatically carry you through. The harder way is if you're holding shoot. Excuse me. If you're holding shoot, you can do a moonwalk, and that will clip you through the robot. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to wait for the turnaround animation. It is a little bit more difficult in terms of inputs to do that optimally, but those are kind of your two options. So we're gonna run left, hit the spark, hit that next spark, turn, and go through. Okay. All right. So here, because we got the optimal strat, we can actually get a forward deboost off of this right spark. We wouldn't have had time to do that with the suboptimal strat, because notice how it's disappearing like immediately after. But if you manage to get this forward deboost, you can actually make it through both of these robots without taking any extra damage. Okay? If you do it like this, you're going to need to take more damage off of this next spark in order to get through. I do a gap skip over that last one. You can also just jump. And then the way that I do this next run through attic, I have missiles selected. It's not the only way to do it, but it's the way that I prefer to do it. And I'm not going to teach the other strat because I won't do it justice. So select missiles, do a gap skip. If at all possible, you want to jump over that last robot and not land on him, but it's easier said than done. It's like that. Like I said, you can also do a boost off of this spark, which if you do it correctly, can be faster. but again, humanly, it's like it's really hard to make it faster. So I opt to do this instead. Alright, so we have missiles selected. I run and I jump as I'm passing these blocks right here. I aim down and then I release down after we pass the pillar here. That will make us land just past it, while also dodging the key hunter generally, as long as you do a short enough jump. And then from here, what I do is I shoot one missile, and then I switch and I shoot one super. I do a 3-tap short charge. You don't need to stutter. You just need to be pretty clean with your taps. You can stutter. It's just slower. Okay. But you want to get blue before this key hunter. You definitely do not want to body damage this key hunter. And then the rest of the room is more or less just like it was the first time through, except we're going to go through that left door. So you want to jump, again, using the same cue. Whatever cue you figured out. And then you can kind of eyeball this. So if you get the right kind of a jump, you'll jump all the way across. And you can clear that pillar. As long as you aim down late enough. You may not even need to aim down if you get the right kind of a jump, but like this, okay? Assuming that happens, you want to run forward immediately so you don't get owned by that key hunter. Do an angle up shot to open the door, and then do a jump ball through the door. And if you do it correctly, you can fall all the way down here. Okay. If you notice that your jump was too shallow, another thing you can do, because generally what's going to happen if your jump is too shallow is you're going to land here, you know, maybe take damage from this spark, and then either you're going to have to like morph to avoid damage, or you're going to body damage that next key hunter, like this. So what I've started doing instead, if I notice that my jump is short, I'll ball up, and then I unmorph after taking damage from the spark. Come on. And I kill the key hunter that way. That also gets you a drop, which is nice. And then you can run and jump through the door. You do not want to stay in a ball. It's okay if you do, because sometimes it'll work out, but other times what's going to happen is you're going to double hit. Because for whatever reason, when you're in ball form and you're airborne, Samus doesn't kill enemies. So sometimes you'll end up just double bonking. You'll bonk the spark and then you'll bonk the key hunter, and that's really bad. So again, if you're doing the ball thing, make sure you unmorph after taking the hit from the spark. Like that. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention about Attic the first time through. Oops. So I'm going to show that really fast, and then we'll move on to the last part of this. Alright, if you bonk here, that sucks because it's going to make your room slower. But if you time it correctly, you can actually double hit this super and this atomic, or this key hunter and this atomic, with a super. Like that. And then you can just kill the key hunter with a regular missile. Or with 2 Spacer Wave Ice shots. Or with another super. Okay. So it's just a nice little backup that, you know, you maybe want to learn on the fly, just in case you mess that up. Like that. It's pretty good. Pretty good backup if you miss the jump. Alright. Okay, so jump ball. If you miss the jump ball, it's no big deal. Just adjust and drop down here. I do prefer to drop down on this first gap. Jump across. I do an angle down. You could also do an aim down or whatever you would like. Just, you want to kill your momentum on the edge here. And then there's a couple different things you can do here. The easiest thing is definitely to charge a Shine Spark. Come up here, do an angle up spark, hold shoot and hold left, and you'll grab those missiles. Like that. The faster thing to do is to jump once we reach the top of this mound. So, and it's kind of easy to see because there's this big dip right here, and then it's the mound right after the dip. You want to jump and collect the missiles that way. I time 3 spin noises, and then I turn right and back left. 1, 2, 3. You can grab the missiles there. 1, 2, 3. It's important that you jump generally on the top of this mound, because if you jump too early, you're not going to get high enough. And if you jump too late, you're going to bonk right here, and you won't get far left enough. So again, generally on the top of the mound. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That was really close. 1, 2, 3. All right. Select supers. There's a super block right in the middle of this bottom mound. Okay. It is a super block. I'll show that. I do another 1, 2, 3 count here. That's kind of some internal timing that I've developed from listening to Samus's spin rotation sound effect. I do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I do 2 pumps. So I pump once on 1, pump again on 2, and then you want 3 to be right around here. 1, 2, 3. That's too early. 1, 2, 3. It's too late. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, it does work fairly well, but this is kind of the YOLO strat. The safer thing, obviously, is to just run over, jump and shoot down and do that. I've also seen like this sort of a thing. It's hard, for me at least, it's hard to aim it accurately and quickly doing the jump. and also falling in the hole is difficult, so I prefer this. If you miss, it's no big deal. Oh crap, I missed. Just do that sort of a thing. Shoot down, that will break a block that's right here. Right here. Okay. Morph, roll through, grab the missile, roll back to the right. I push jump twice to unmorph, jump up, and then remorph and go through the hole. And then if you're fast enough, you can get back up through here before the super block respawns. Like that. I shoot as I'm coming out. You can also just jump out and do an angle down shot. But that will break this block right here. Lay a bomb in this corner. I do an auto deselect missile. Unmorph in this corner, and then I run forward and shoot my auto deselect missile. And it will kill this guy, and you can get a farm off of him. It's like a couple frames slower than not farming, but sometimes you'll get a super or a big health, both of which are very good. So. Alright, and then you can either hold a charge through this door, like this, which results in a strat where you pseudo screw through the first guy and then do a boost like that. Or my strat that I really like, I boost off of the first waiver like this. You can either run through, or if you do the boost correctly, you can hold shoot during the boost, and it will freeze both of these guys, and then you can shoot them again and get 2 farms. Which again is really nice if you need health or supers. They're not always going to drop what you need, but it's at least fairly common that you'll get some big health or some super missile drops. So. Alright, run through this door, hold shoot and angle down. That will automatically open the next door and start a charge shot for you. You don't want to be holding shoot before entering the door, because then if you hold shoot and angle down, it's not going to automatically open that door. So enter the door without holding shoot. Hold shoot and angle down. And then immediately run forward. Okay. We're going to talk about Robot Flush. Before we talk about Robot Flush, if you decide you don't want to do Robot Flush because it's hard, instead of doing this strat that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, you can do a short charge here. And Shine Spark across. Okay. That's a 3-tap. I did a stutter 3-tap. So, Robot Flush. You want to be holding a charge. This is the very first strat that I ever forced myself to learn how to piano. Like, on the controller, how to piano at all on the controller. Because before that I was always doing standard grip, and I could not consistently hold shoot and jump and dash all at the correct times. Like, I just couldn't do it. So I forced myself to learn how to piano it, and then eventually I switched to clawing it instead. But we're going to talk about this. So you want to jump as you're coming out of the door. It's pretty hard to jump too early here. It is possible, like that, but really, don't worry too much about jumping too early. Just try to focus on jumping as the door is closing, or what's going to happen if you wait too long is you're just going to run off like this. So you want to get a jump, then you want to turn left just before you're landing, and you want to hold forward as you hit the spikes. So in other words, hold left as you hit the spikes. Then, after you actually initiate the damage, and you have boosted Samus downward, then you want to push back to continue the damage boost and do this kind of short damage boost here. Okay? You do not want a damage boost like this. You don't want that. You want this shorter one. Okay? So you jump out, you do a short damage boost, you hold angle down, whether that's on the D-pad or with the angle down button. And then, as you're passing these grapple blocks on the end, or in between these two vertical pillar, spike, whatever things, that's when you want to release your first shot. And if you do it correctly, you'll hear that noise. Okay? That is the beams hitting the robot. You want to err on the side of shooting earlier. Oh, come on, dude. Can't even do it now. Maybe you want to err on the side of shooting later. Maybe I was wrong about that. Either way, you do need to kind of get a feel for it. One thing to keep in mind is that the robots are moving off screen, and so if you take too long to do these, so like you can't just like run off and keep running forward and then just time your shot like that. You may hear the crumble noise, but likely what you're hitting is actually a separate set of blocks instead of the robot. Dude. Okay. For the second shot, what you want to do is on this next set of grapple blocks, there's this next vertical beam thing. You want to turn left and then turn right as you are landing on the spikes. I do an aim down turn. But the idea, you're not trying to do a damage boost here, you're just trying to turn in a way that you're not getting a damage boost, actually. So like this, you turn right, and then on the next vertical, that's where I shoot. That's where I release my next charge shot. These do need to be charge shots, or they won't connect. And then from there, you want to run forward and do a jump ball. Select power bombs, lay a power bomb as you land in the spikes. It's okay if it's over here. Just, you don't want it to be too far left, but as long as it's kind of generally over here on the right side, you want to lay a power bomb. What this is going to do is it's going to break the Chozo statue that's holding a missile pack down below us. So basically what we're doing here is we're setting up all of the obstacles that are in our way after the bowling statue carries us down, so that they're all out of the way and we can just run and grab our items very quickly. The Shine Spark method will get us to the bowling statue faster, but ultimately it makes the room slower because then we have to deal with all the obstacles down below after the statue carries us down. Okay. Grab a drink, grab a snack, check your phone. This is one of the only points in the run where you get a breather, so take advantage of it. Bowling statue carries you down. I mash jump here and aim down like this, and then you want to turn fairly early as you're about to land on this block here. You can do kind of this automorph thing. You want to lay a bomb, unmorph, angle up, shoot. I do a jump here. It's up to you. Just, you don't want to get bounced up by the bomb, so you could also like run left or something. I wonder if you can run all the way left. No, that'll land you on that. Alright. So we're going to release a charge shot here. And if you listen, it should break some blocks. Like that. For some odd reason, it won't always break those blocks, even if it's a charge shot. A non-charged shot will not break the blocks, but a charge shot will. Okay? But again, for some odd reason, this won't work sometimes. I haven't figured out why. It works from the right. Works from the left. There may be some like subpixel values specifically where it won't work, but I've also been pushed up against the right side of the wall before, like this, and released, and it still like would randomly not break. So I don't know why that happens sometimes, but the idea is just that you want to charge a shot and release it as soon as you see Samus flashing. As soon as she starts flashing, that's when you know you can release a shot, and it will be a charge shot, okay? See? Didn't work. I don't know why. Anyway, it will break this block. Dude, you piece of crap. If it doesn't break, roll through, lay a bomb. Oh my word. Stand up, shoot up. We'll break all of these blocks. And then shoot to the right, and it will break that block. And then if you did robot flush correctly, the robots will both be in their holes, and the Chozo statue is gone. So it's just this floating missile pack here. Select power bombs here. Run forward. I charge my Shine Spark just as this dot is leaving the left side of the screen. Okay. And then you want to do an angle up spark. You can also do an up spark, but I do an angle up spark because if we're a little bit too far left, that will save us. So if you do an up spark like right here, for example, you're going to bonk. But if you did an angle up spark, you would not. That'll take you up the shaft and through this speed block. This is a crumble block, so you have to land on it, do a quick drop through it. And then this is a hole right here, so be careful about that. You want to jump across and grab the reserve tank. You can either shoot angle down like this, or you can just do drop through the crumble and then shoot aiming forward. But you do need to shoot it before you can collect the reserve tank. And then what you want to do is jump down. I don't really have cues for this. I've just sort of learned how to feel it out. But you want to do quick drops through these 3 sets of blocks. So you got 1, 2, and then what I do is, so I go down facing left. I turn right, and then left, right, left, right, left, and then I turn back to the right, 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 left, right, left. That's what I do. Right, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left. That way you're already facing left when you come out of here. You could also just face right, I guess. The thing is, that'll put you on the right side. So you'd want to like drop down on the left side by not holding dash or killing your momentum. But yeah, I do right, left, right, left. And I can't even show it right now, apparently. If you charge your Shine Spark as you're coming off this corner, it will actually kind of push Samus down so that she's lower. And then assuming you have enough power bombs, you can lay a power bomb on this first tubing right here, and it will break this block for you. When I say assuming you have enough, you want at least 2 here. If you only have 1, do not use it. Then jump up, run through, hold shoot, collect gravity. And that is Wrecked Ship. That is the entirety of Wrecked Ship. So hopefully this has been an informative and not necessarily 100% definitive. I'm sure there's strats that I missed, etc. But hopefully it's been a good tutorial for you guys. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. Let's find someone to raid. Alright, I'm going to send you guys over to Angie, because she's awesome. And yeah, I'll either see you later or I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one.